So I've just put together this little video that I'm going to play now, and then after this one I'm going to go through the key moments in the audio exchanges between Latifi and his race engineer. Now, I had to do it this way because I needed to put this little video together that I'm showing you so that I could then analyse it and get it into my head as to what was going on. And I want you to listen, and I'll speak about it afterwards. So here we go. Oh, I need to press this one actually. Okay, this is going to be the breakdown of the Nicholas Latifi audio prior to his crash, but also how he took turn 14 prior to crashing for those 4 to 5 laps before he crashed. Now, it feels to me that he put on too much revs going around that corner and stayed on the revs. These Formula One drivers are extremely skilled. The feel that they have for their car is superb. If you're an elite sportsman, if you get to compete at the top level, then you know Mug. Okay, you've been doing this thing for the majority of your life. You've been karting from an early age, and you've gone through all the formulas, and even the ones that we know are crap like Latifi, they're still better than the average person by far. Okay, you build up that much feel. If you've grown up in motorsport, you've built up that much feel for your car that you know when that back end of the car is on the limit, and you also know when it's going to go into a slide, and you know how to correct it. You know to come off the gas. Now, evidently, Latifi didn't know it well enough because of the number of times he did crash. But turn 14 should not be a corner that you crash on in the manner that he did. David Coulthard, when interviewed about it on the day, even describes the way that Latifi crashed as being extremely dodgy. Okay, well, it didn't use those words, but I'll find the interview and we'll show you that, whereby Coulthard is basically saying it was a ridiculous crash by Latifi. Latifi went round turn 14 in 4th gear on every lap prior to that, on each of the 3 or 4 laps beforehand, in 4th gear. But on the lap that he crashed, he went round in 3rd gear. When you go round in a lower gear, then it's easier to spin the back wheels up by hitting the throttle. That's anybody that drives a car understands what it does. So it seems like a way, if you would like to engineer crashing your car in that manner, that would be how to do it. Take that corner in a low gear and boot the throttle. The back end will kick out and it will kick your back end into the barrier. That is, if somebody asked you how would you perform that crash, well, exactly how Latifi did it. That's just how it is. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to put this here so you can see his screen, and so you can't at the moment because his steering wheel's in the way, but you'll see what gear he's in as he goes around that corner. And I'm not going to speak from now. I'm just going to play this through and stop it each time he goes through the corner. Okay, so this is the first time. The first one, I'm going to start at 1:20.53, and all I'm going to do is do lap after lap until the crash lap, and you're going to see what gear he goes around the corner in. You're going to hear the throttle response. Because the engine note you can hear appears to be real time. The audio, in terms of the communications between the driver and his race engineer, there appears to be a 4 to 5 second lag on that. But the actual sound that you can hear, the engine note that you can hear from the car, seems to be real time. That corresponds with the car accelerating and decelerating as it goes around each of these bends. So hopefully we're going to be able to pick up as to what his throttle input was and whether that was the same as it was for each of the previous 3 to 4 laps, however many are going to be. I think there's going to be 4 laps before the lap that he crashes on, but we'll see as I play this through. So here we go.
You okay? You okay, mate?
What? Sorry.
Copy. Copy. Sorry.
I've just rewound it. I want you to hear again. Okay, you might have been looking at the screen, checking the gears, and you'd have seen 4, 4, 4, 4, 3. Focus on the sound. Focus on the throttle input. Okay, how much he's feathering the accelerator, when he accelerates, and when he stays on the gas.
You okay? You okay, mate?
What? Sorry.
Copy. Copy. So remember, assume the car is...
He seems to be okay. There's two ways of looking at it. You could say he's lost traction and therefore the engine started to rev higher. Some could argue that. Some could argue, oh, that's because he's got the dirty tyres and he's lost traction. Well, every other time he is going around that apex at turn 14, he's eased off the throttle. He's eased off the throttle as he's going around the corner. And he then starts pressing the throttle on exit of the corner. When he crashed, he's on the throttle mid-corner. And it stays. It doesn't, at the point in time you feel that car lose traction, you immediately come off the throttle. And that throttle is prolonged until that back end's coming round on him. Irretrievable then.
Isn't safe. You have to switch off fully the car. Switch off fully the car. So give me time to confirm car is safe or unsafe. I need 60 seconds. Okay. Remember, when you jump off the car, switch off everything and drop fully off the car.
Copy.
Oh, it's right by the little camera feed, right by his car, or audio pickup. Convenient, isn't it? It's also convenient that the marshals are on hand, isn't it? I'm going to go through the audio because I've got the other video that I've already done that you saw in the last one. We'll go through the key interactions there. But whilst it's not definitive, it very much feels that Latifi stayed on the gas, hit the throttle earlier, hit the throttle as he was going round, as he was cornering, hit the throttle as he was cornering with that steering angle in those front wheels. And when you hit the throttle when you've got a steering angle on, well, you're going to kick the back end out. When you hit the throttle and your steered wheels are pointing straight, you go straight forward. If you've got a steering angle on and you hit the throttle, then your back end's going to kick out. And that's when he hit the throttle. Now, again, there might be a way of doing this more accurately, and I'll put my mind to it and see if I can do something that's going to be a bit more conclusive. I accept that this isn't definitive, but it ain't right. It ain't right. And anybody with integrity will know that it's not right. Obviously, we're going to get the trolls. We're going to get the strap-on fanboy. Going to try and pull this apart, saying, ha ha, it's not this, ha ha, it's not that. Well, this is what they say to every video. But it doesn't stop me, and it doesn't make them right, does it? So, if you have the ability to be able to break this down any better and have the ability with the technology, if you've got F1 TV yourself, and can break this down with more accuracy in terms of the throttle timings and what the throttle sounds like as he goes through the corner each time. So you might do this in like half speed or even a quarter speed, and that might be able to break these timings down more accurately and give us a better indication. So I might try that and see how that turns out, but that's what it's seeming like to me. Okay, so I think this is the Coulthard interview on the day. It was the 12th of December. 13,290 comments. 13,290. That's quite a lot, the BBC. You'd think that's significant, wouldn't you? You'd think maybe this would require some investigation by your chief writer, Andrew Benson, to see if, why are so many people outraged about what's going on there? Surely they know something. Well, let's tell you what Coulthard knew. This is his interview on that day.
It was a huge sporting moment between two fantastic drivers and teams, and we wanted, all of us, to see it played out on the racetrack in a non-controversial way. But what looked like it was going to be a fairly textbook drive from lights out to checkered flag for Lewis Hamilton was turned on its head when we had Latifi crash his car, seemingly trying to overtake himself. It was the most silliest little incident that led to the safety car, and then, as you've just described, we had Latifi crash his car, seemingly trying to overtake himself. It was the most silliest little incident that led to the safety car, and then, as you've just described, a sequence of events that none of us have seen before.
Funny that. A sequence of events that none of us have seen before. Oh, but it was just a mistake. That sequence of events that your manager, Martin Brundle, lied about before it even happened. That's strange, isn't it? That's something that we shouldn't be seeing. Crofty lying about it before it happened. That's something we shouldn't be seeing. F1 TV, the people that show us what we see on the TV, not showing us how long it was taking to clear it up, whilst Brundle and Crofty were just lying, going, what are we going to see here? It's too exciting for us all. What are they going to do? Are they going to break the rules or not? But I don't think it's mandatory, but that's usually on a wet day in Belgium. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And then we get the governing body of the sport breaking the rules to manufacture Max Verstappen as champion, and then we get a bullshit appeal where you can say you've broken your rules, and the FIA consult their rules and go, did we follow those rules or not? Red Bull, do you think we followed the rules or not? Oh, Red Bull think the rules are now differently. Oh, we'll agree with Red Bull. And then Mercedes don't take further action. And then the FIA said, oh, okay, we'll do a full investigation in this and report so we don't make this sort of error again. And then a 12-year-old child writes a little story and they all live happily ever after to cover up the fraud. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to assess whether Latifi crashed on purpose. Well, that evidence there of Latifi taking turn 14 for the 4 laps prior to him actually crashing on demonstrate that he decelerated. He was going round turn 14 in 4th gear each time, and he only got on the gas after he'd passed the apex of 14. On the lap he crashed, he was on the gas well before that, kicking the back end out when he got steering angle on. That says to me that a driver is doing something intentionally. But we're going to go through the audio, so let me just get to that video. So you may have viewed my last video where it's the uninterrupted audio for about 5 laps of Latifi prior to him crashing. And what you'll have noticed is there was probably around about 2 to 3 laps of relative radio silence. Okay, at one point Latifi was almost complaining that he wanted a bit more power, but other than that there was no coaching from his race engineer, and there was no I would say radio silence is pretty much the best way of describing it. And then we begin with communication. The communication kicks in. So let's play this through.
Thank you. That's 8 to go, mode 11. Let the pack go up. And last attempt. Last attempt, you were close enough, and with 2 press overtake into 6 and into 9, you would have made the pass into 9. Let's go for that. That's too late press into 6 and 9.
So, Latifi has been trying to pass Schumacher for a period of time, and nobody said anything. But now it kicks in. Okay, the last time, you pressed overtake too late and you need to do it now. Now that's driver coaching. I thought that was outlawed. But it doesn't seem to be clamped down because it's not the only person that's being coached by their race engineer as to how to drive the car. So why all of a sudden have we started telling him what he needs to do now? Why on the previous laps did we not hear this? Why is it just now?
It wouldn't have made a difference.
And Latifi saying, well, by pressing the overtake when you're saying wouldn't have made a difference.
Not this lap, next lap, Nicky.
Not this lap, next lap, Nicky. Now, again, the argument can be, oh, maybe he's using this lap to recharge the electrical power for maximum deployment the following lap. Now, obviously, that's going to be the defence that they'll put forward. But if there's a plan for it to be the next lap, then there needs to be a build-up to it, doesn't there? There needs to be the cover story. There needs to be the authentic kind of, oh, well, this is what we were planning to do. Yeah, this is what we were building up to do. But again, why does it need to be the next lap? Why does it need to be the next lap? And we'll carry on.
Let the pack go up, just be close enough. And that could be your last attempt.
Why could it be his last attempt? Because that makes no sense to me. Why would a race engineer say to his driver, it could be your last attempt?
Has to be this lap, mate. Give everything.
Has to be this lap, mate. Give it everything. What has to be this lap? It makes no sense that if you're going to overtake Mick Schumacher, it would have to be this lap. It makes absolutely no sense. Now, again, when I did this video previously, when I just went through the basics of it, we got the strap-on fanboy telling us, oh, well, that was because, I know, that was because his tyres were almost worn out and it had to be this lap. Okay, fine. Right, he's got no grip, so if he overtakes him this lap, he's not going to be a sitting duck for Mick Schumacher to re-overtake. No, Rightio. So that doesn't make sense, does it? Oh, well, it's his power unit. This is they knew that his electrical power unit was down on power, and this would be the last time they could get some full power out of it. Yeah, and once again, he doesn't have anything to defend with. So the next lap, when Mick Schumacher's got DRS and he can slipstream him, Nicholas Latifi can't defend because he's not got the overtake to give him that bit of an extra boost, extra bit of pace in a straight line to defend with. So if there's some reason why it has to be this lap, well, and beyond this lap, the performance of the car is going to only deteriorate, well, that just makes him a sitting duck for Mick Schumacher to re-overtake. So why would you even try to do it? If you were going to do it, you'd try and save the power and deploy it as late as possible so that you overtook and there was no time left in the race for Mick Schumacher to get back at you. That's just the way it is. Of course, the strap-on fanboy will try to, these kids that play the computer games and think they know it all. The real motor racing fans that have got one of them chairs that they sit in their bedrooms while they play their computer games and masturbate. Yeah, them sort of things. They have all the answers. These kids do.
Early overtake, early.
So again, we're getting some coaching. We've got to make it look like it's authentic. There was radio silence for about three laps that we heard, but now we're all making it happen, aren't we? And we're getting the race engineer telling the driver how we're going to do it.
An early overtake, exit of 7.
As they come down here between 8 and 9, I mean, immediately out of 7, Schumacher pulls away quite a lot. And it's as though Schumacher takes a different line to what Schumacher normally takes. Schumacher just opens the door and offers him the space in order to almost choreograph the whole duel. And as they come round 9 and it appears that Schumacher runs Latifi off the track so that Latifi's tyres get dirty and picks up that dirt on his tyres so he doesn't have the grip going round 14. That narrative. It all seems choreographed on the move down to turn 9. I will try and show you that. I'll just play this through and I'll try and... In fact, right, I'm going to try and do it this way. Shit or bust. If it gets blocked, it gets blocked. So this is coming down to turn 6. They're just turning into turn 6. Okay. This is 7. Oh, it's got to give that place back. It's got to give that place back. Okay, so watch. This is Schumacher in front of Latifi. Pulled away. Okay, that's a long way. Where are you going now, Schumacher? Where are you going? And why are you taking that line? Because when you take turn 9, you want to stay as wide as possible, and you want to you go from out to in to out. Stay wide, kiss the apex, and you end up on the wide on exit. Why are you doing that, Schumacher? Oh, why? It's because he's there now. Oh, he's bumping me. Oh, he's bumping me. Dirty tyres. Filth.
Forced me off some.
You see, people will argue that he took a different line round turn 14 because of what had taken place beforehand, but look, he'd come back on track and then he'd got himself across to here to take this correctly now. That's how you'd take that. That's fine. So again, by now, you're not out of shape. You shouldn't be out of shape now.
Forced me off some.
Copy. Copy.
1. Again, gear-wise, I don't know why you're in different gears now. 3rd. Why are you hitting the throttle there? Because you're always eased off there before. You're not getting on the throttle until you're straight in the... Look at your steering angle. Look at your steering angle there. You're not hitting the gas at that steering angle on the previous laps, Latifi, are you? You're not racing him, are you? Because look how far ahead he is. So it's not as though you're trying to make an overtake there. You're just trying to get round the corner. What's going on now, Nicholas? Oh, that's a great correction, that is, Nick. Anti-stall. What we're going to do? Are we going to see if we can select reverse and get it back to the pits?
You okay?
Neutral. Yeah, that's it. Get it into neutral so that, you know, because the anti-stall only lasts for 10 seconds. So well done. Get it into neutral. Want to try something?
You okay, mate?
What? Sorry.
Copy.
No, just switch it off.
Copy.
Engine stop. Copy.
So remember, assume the car isn't safe.
You couldn't make it up, could you? You couldn't make it up. Anyway, back to the audio.
Forced me off some.
Copy. Copy. You okay? You okay, mate?
What? Sorry.
Copy.
Are you okay? Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Seems very choreographed to me.
Copy. So remember, assume the car isn't safe. You have to switch off fully the car. Switch off fully the car. So give me time to confirm car is safe or unsafe. I need 60 seconds. Okay. Remember, when you jump off the car, switch off everything and drop fully off the car.
Copy.
Do you remember, was it earlier this season? Or it might have been last season, I can't remember. All the bullshit blends into one. Where Lance Stroll goes into the barriers, he's crashed his car. And his race engineer's like, can you make it back, Lance? And Lance goes, no, I'm in the fucking tyres. Race engineer, can you make it back, Lance? No, I'm in the fucking tyres. Race engineer, Nicholas, can you make it back? We didn't hear that, did we? You see, often when we're going through the audio, we're focusing on what we can hear, but we don't consider what we're not hearing. What would you be hearing if it was authentic? If you were the race engineer, what would you be inquiring about your driver? Are you okay? Yeah. Okay. Can you get it go? Can you get it back? Can you get back? Can we still do something? Just switch it off and jump clear of the car. That doesn't seem a normal response to a car hitting a barrier. We've seen numerous times a car crashing and then that car limping back around the track to the pits. If it's drivable, then that car usually makes it back, or will pull off into a space in the barrier and pull itself to retirement. If it doesn't need a crane to come on track to recover it, then it drives off the track. And being that close to the pits, it would have been viable to drive Latifi's car back to the pits. He didn't even attempt. He went from third gear to neutral. There was no attempt to select reverse, no attempt to see if it was movable. Now, it might have been damaged. There might have been gearbox damage. It went from third to neutral, didn't it? And there was no attempt to do anything else. No attempt. And that's not authentic. What I'm going to try and do is, when I get the time, try and slow-mo each of them times he came around turn 14 on the previous 4 laps to the crash, and try and accurately gauge the throttle inputs and determine just how different that throttle input was on the lap that he crashed, and see if when everything is slowed down, it might make the timings of the audio a lot clearer for us all to see. So if I can do that, hopefully that can shed more light on it. With all the telemetry data, we'd be able to see this very easily. And that does exist. We just don't have access to it. And it's highly likely, like many things, it'll just get destroyed by this show. There is evidence there will be cameras that were in FIA race control in those last 5 laps, so that we can see what each of those 10 people in FIA race control were actually doing, and if there were anybody else there controlling the show. Who was it that was ultimately demanding Massey to do what he did? That footage will have existed. It probably doesn't now. There's going to be other audio feeds that we don't hear. They will have existed. They probably don't now. But we can use what we can use, and we can, well, like I say, ultimately it doesn't matter whether he crashed on purpose, because what took place afterwards was fraudulent. And even if it had been an organic crash, which it doesn't appear to be, but even if it was an organic crash, it doesn't mean that it wasn't a fraud afterwards. Because what was afterwards, the commentators lying about the rules of the sport, the governing body breaking the rules of the sport, setting up the ending that we got, the governing body's stewards then confirming the rule break to be, yeah, we've accepted that the rules are broken and that's fine, but pretending that that's not a rule break, pretending that that's a valid interpretation of the rules. Mercedes then not appealing, when appealing would have been a slam dunk, and that would have given Lewis Hamilton a record-breaking 8th world championship, and they didn't. And then the FIA saying, "Oh, we need to do a report about this," and the report is complete bollocks. It's a complete lie, and yet no media globally has ever delved into this. They've just presented and parroted the same narrative, the same bullshit, the same excuses. Oh, it was just one guy that was under pressure. Oh, all the teams wanted a racing finish. Well, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to fix outcomes of sport. You're not allowed to have agreements for a sport to conclude in a certain way, are you? You just got to play that sport by the rules and regulations of it. And then rules and regulations of the sport dictated that in that particular set of circumstances, that had to be a safety car finish. You can't do it any other way. But they did it another way. And that's fraudulent. That demonstrates contrivance. That demonstrates breaking the rules of the sport to contrive an ending. That's sport manipulation, that's sport fixing, that is fraud. And the governing body covers it up. Because they did it. And the media covers it up. Because they did it. They couldn't have done it without the likes of Brundle and Crofty lying to you, to convince me, to convince us all that what we were watching was just so exciting and nobody knows what's going on. What's the race director doing here? Oh, it's chaos. But look at how exciting this is. But he fully deserved it. He absolutely deserved it. He had no luck. He got the most podiums. He got this. He led the most laps. He fully deserved it. They had to validate it, didn't it? They had to come up with all the reasons why it was okay. None of them could say it wasn't, could they? None of them could say this is not okay. This is far from okay. Look at what's happened to Lando Norris. Look what happened to Carlos Sainz. Look what's happened to Daniel Ricciardo. Nobody's there challenging Max Verstappen. Nobody's there challenging Sebastian Vettel. All of these dynamics broken. Nobody could say that. Nobody identified just what the implications of breaking the rules are. Red Bull's interpretation that the FIA went, oh yes, that must be the valid interpretation, Red Bull. We can see what you mean. Yeah. Well, this is what happens when we live in a society whereby crime can take place, but if it's committed by those with the wealth, they can use their media that they also own to feed everybody a story that makes everybody believe it to be a certain way. That means that they get off with the crime. They've got the government already in their pocket because they've got probably dirt on the people that are in government. And if the governments don't do what the people with the money say them to do, then they get cancelled in the media. They get vilified. Yeah, they get the dirt dished on them that ruins their careers and impacts their lives. So, yeah, the people with the big money, they've got the control. They've got the control of the governments. They've got the control over the broadcasting, the media that are going to condition all of our minds to believe things to be how they are. And that enables them to perpetrate whatever it is that they want to do that's going to make them money without consequence. Because the government won't then set the law enforcement agencies onto them to deal with their corruption. The UK will not put the UK Serious Fraud Office, they won't task the UK Serious Fraud Office with investigating this fraud. Funny that, isn't it? That's how deep this corruption goes. This is the world that we live in. This is the society we're supposed to live in. The society that we're all living in now. And any kids, any grandkids that you may have, this is the world that they're going to grow up into. A corrupt world, controlled by billionaires, where your kids are going to be lied to by media, and along the way, their lives are going to be impacted by it. Make no mistake, all of our lives are. Continually are. We just don't know it. Some of us do, but many don't. Anyway, that'll do on this one. I will try at some point in the not too distant future to see if I can do, like I say, a slow motion breakdown and see if that reveals any more about the true nature of what Nicholas Latifi was actually doing with his throttle through turn 14. Thank you for your time.